Alrighty, welcome back. We're on air, and today Jolene's going to get in on the scene. And what we're going to do is we're going to weld this panel on. I put this panel on yesterday, and today's a brand new day. And I'm figuring to show how I put these panels on without warping them is basically as good as any video that I can think of. So what we're going to do is Jolene's going to weld this panel on and not warp the panel using the process that I like to use. You do it the way you want to do it, but I'm going to show you our process or my process that I do so I do not warp the panels. And basically, if you come up close on this panel, you can see that I've got a gap in between where the spot welds are. And what I've done is I took a zip cut in there and cut that, so there's a gap in there. And this is what I'm saying. I've showed a video on it before. If you are overlapping this panel on that panel, which is okay by me, I do it all the time. If you overlap this panel on that panel, when you weld that on there, I'm saying if you grind off all the weld and you cannot see it, you haven't got much. And the reason being is the only way you're really penetrating from this side to the other side and know you've got full penetration is to have that gap for a place for the weld to go. If you are leaving metal down behind and putting this metal above that a little bit, that's not really butt welding. And if you're grinding all the metal off, when you start hitting it with a hammer, you could have a problem. What I am doing is I want the gap there so we know there's penetration. That's basically all I'm saying. I want see gap in between there for penetration, so we can try to grind off all the weld. If there comes a place where it's warped up a little bit, it's hard to get all the weld off. And also I'm butting it on there because I can. It's a nice piece of metal that's up there. It's a nice piece of metal there. We're going to butt weld it on. We'll go to the other side and I'll show you exactly what I mean. I've got a piece of square tubing in here. What I'm saying is if I put this square stock on there and we look down, I have not hit that with a hammer whatsoever. Not hit that with a hammer. No, I have not. I've got that butt welded on there, and you got that piece of square stock on there. You can tell there's no warpage in that. And then we put it up in here. There's no warpage in that. So I have not warped the panel, and I've butt welded it, and I feel safe to grind it all, the weld all off, because I know that I've got penetration because I left the gap. If I've got the metal over top a little bit, or whatever, I don't feel like you do not know. I can see from the backside because I can see it if I got penetration on it. But when you're welding a panel on and your metal's over above a little bit and you're grinding all the weld off, you're playing with fire when it comes time. I'm not interested in welding it up 3 and 4, 5 different times. I don't do that. I don't go on the backside and weld the backside up and grind that side and then grind this side. I zip cut it, butt weld it, grind it off. Basically, that's it. I try not to weld 3, 4, 5 times, grind it off and weld holes and continue on with that. I like to just weld it on once, grind it off, be done with it. Exactly like that. We welded it on once, ground it off, we're done with it. And this is what I'm going to get Jolene to do. Jolene's going to come in here, and this is sort of, it's a hard thing to, when you got a gap in sheet metal, to not burn through. It's a hard thing. So basically, when I got a marker here. When we do this, or when I do this, I've got it spotted on, and I got it spotted on so it's in place. And basically, it don't even have to be butt welded on, if you know what I'm saying. But we are, so we're going to show you the process. It's spotted on, so it's in place. It's not going anywhere. Them spots right there did not warp anything. Nice. Did not warp anything. And we're going to try to continue not to warp anything with the process. So, I'm going to put this light here. So what I'm saying is, when you hit that, you're basically going to want to burn through the very first time. It's going to want to burn through. So what I do is I tap it with the welder just to put a little bit of meat there, and then I'll hit it again because there's a little bit of meat there, and then I can melt it on. It's a very quick process to put them little tacks on there. It's a bump right on top of it. You put a little meat, it burns off the wire there a little bit, then you go right back in, you get a little bit of there, then you just hit it quickly, and then you got a little spot of weld. That's what I did there, and I didn't burn through anywheres. When we're doing this, so Jolene's going to go, I'd like her to see her go every 6 inches. And what I mean by every 6 inches, so she puts one here, then she can put one there, in between there. Just go like that. Put one there, put one in there. Then she can go here. Then she can go here. And then maybe she'll just tack one on there quickly. Using no air. You're not getting no warpage doing that. So we'll just hold back for a second, and we go back here. So we've put 6 inches, so we put one there. So we'll move maybe here this time, and then we'll go 6 inches. That would put that ahead of this one, so that'll go here. And then you would put one here, and then maybe another little tack on the end. We have an air hose with us. At all point in time, you should keep it cool. So if we did 2 rows of it, we just blow it off like this, go easy with it, go easy with it. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get these tacks that far apart. Once we get that tacks like this, that far apart on this piece of metal, then we're set to go to do 4s. And what I mean by 4s is 1, 2, 3, 4. And basically what I'm saying is you get to spot weld 4 times. As soon as you spot weld 4 times, I grab the hose and I put it right on the spot weld where it's at, right where I've welded, right dead on it, hold it there, hold it there, hold it there till I think it's cool. And I can check it out how long it is with my hand. I can check it out, see if it's warm or not. And basically what I would do is I'd move on. So if I got 4 here, I'd move up 6 inches and then I'd do 4 here. As soon as I weld 4, I grab that air hose and I put it on there. So basically what we're doing is we're going to weld this piece on with a MIG welder with 0 warpage. We're not going to get into hammer and dolly. We're not going to get into anything. All we're doing is going to weld it on, and it's going to be mint. Basically what I'm trying to say. And this is the process we do. When we do the 4s, it's 1. We start the wire right there. And then that will get half of that one and starts another one. When we start the wire again, we start the wire right there. And again, then it gets half of that one, so it covers that one. When we do it again, we put the wire right there, and then we get half of that one like that. So it lays basically over top of each other. So we have no places where there's a gap. You know, you're overlapping the welds, so you make sure there's no holes. If we did it this way, you wouldn't know if it's got a hole, a little pinhole in here, there. You know what I'm saying? So you want to overlap to make sure that you get everything. So we're just going to weld it up. We're going to tack weld it till we get it like this. And then we're going to start doing that, and with the air at full time. So basically, Jolene's going to get ready, and I hope she's ready because it's very thin. It's a tedious process because there is a gap there. We're not cheating in any way, and the reason being is because we're going to put it on, and we're going to know that there's penetration. We're actually putting the panel on, thinking that we can't see from the backside. If we want to see from the backside, come look at the backside over here. If you want to pull in on the backside on this thing, you can see that's full penetration all the way along on the backside of that weld. Now you would not see that. You would not see that if that panel was not visible. Like if we put the panel on like we did up on the A-pillar, you would not see your piece that you put on whether it's fully penetrated. So to know for sure and to be able to grind off all the weld, I suggest that you have a gap between your metal so you know you have full penetration. If you're lapping it a little bit, you do not know if you've got full penetration. So to me, you cannot grind off all the weld. Basically, if you have any little issue at all, you hit it with a hammer, then it starts cracking on you. Or any issue at all, if you want to move it or bend it or whatever, then you have a problem. Then you have to get the welder back out, weld it up again, and then grind it again. Or if you're welding it, overlapping a little bit and grinding all the weld off, then you have to go on the back side and weld up the back side and see if it's okay. Well, how much time do you want to take to butt weld something on? That's up to you. Basically, what I like to do, or what I always do, is when I butt weld something on, there's a gap. And the gap is there for penetration. Alrighty, enough of that. So basically what we're going to do is, Jolene's going to take over, I'm going to take the camera, she's going to do the best job she can, and we'll go from there. Give Jolene a helmet. We've got the welder set on B5. I'm just going to turn it to the welder and show you what the welder's saying. B5, basically. I haven't got my glasses on, that's a shame. Now, Jolene's looking amazing today in the welding helmet, don't you think, boys? Yes, she is. Yes, she is. So, yeah, Jolene's butt welded on before, obviously. But she's going to butt weld this on. We're going to get up as close as we can without getting burnt in our eyes. Basically, what happens is you just got to look through the camera and you don't get hurt, your eyes. But basically, let's just try one on there. I suggest put one in there and just practice the quick little bump of the welder to put a little meat there. Yeah, and then hit again. Did you burn through?
Nope.
Good job. Go 6 inches and do it again. Awesome. Awesome. Got that light right in your way. Cool. Let's go back. You can start a little ways from that, yeah. Start in between those ones you may as well.
Right here?
Like, no, in between the two that you just put on. So grab the center of the two you just put on. That way there you got no heat.
Okay.
Okay, grab a center, it don't matter, because that was not hot there. That was what was on there before. So what she's doing is she's bumping that welder. She's putting a little bit of meat on and then burning it in. Basically what's going on. I want you to take your hand, feel the heat, feel your metal. On top is where your heat would be.
It's just warm.
Just warm. You got some nice nails, girl. All right, let's take your air and just blow off your soot from your welder, from your welding. Just blow that off. Just takes a second. All right, let's find another spot. How's it feel?
Good.
Okay, let's find another spot. You want me to move that light for you?
Yeah, sure.
Just move it up some. Good.
Right here?
Let's grab a spot, and then we'll go 6 inches. Yep. Cool. Just got some undercoat in the back.
Okay, yeah.
Give it a little bit of air. Just grab the air, blow it off there a little bit. You generally know where you weld it last from the sooty mark, but usually it's sooty. Feel it with your hand to see if anything's warm or hot or anything at all. We don't want no warpage. I'm trying to show how good you are. Any heat?
Not really.
All right, good. Let's just practice. Let's get her like we want. We want this right here, remember? We want that. So let's just continue on with what we got going. Just bumping it with the welder, putting some meat down, and then soaking it in. That's basically what's going on. Just keep that diagram in mind when you're spotting it, so you can get your pieces, Put a little air on that, please. Put a little air on it. We're getting tighter there with the spot welding. We just want no heat. All the way down. Continue on. Now remember, she's butt welding 18 gauge. I'm not sure what the car is, but there's a gap there, and she's butt welding it together. And we know that she's getting penetration, because we'll know in the end, because we'll get to take a look. Any heat?
No.
No heat?
Nope.
Good. Now just continue on with that diagram up there and spot the places that you look like you need to be able to make fours.
Okay.
So that's basically what she's doing now. She got no heat. And basically she's going to the places where they got the gap, and she's going to make it so she can run fours. Put a little air on that, please and thank you.
That last one puddled up on me.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
So I've just got these two, and then
Yeah, go back and grab a couple. See if you can go back here and grab a couple, yeah?
Okay.
Maybe go do a 4.
Okay.
Now we're going to start with a 4. She's going to have an air hose right with her. And the 4s are going to be, she's going to put one on. She's going to put the wire right at the start of the spot weld. And she's going to have meat there, right? She's not going to have to double tack it. Air right away, viciously, air on it. Hold it there until it's cool. That almost, you can pull back just a little bit. It almost shrinks the metal, and it probably does a little. I would like to see you make sure, like heat goes up, I would like to see you make sure
It's cold.
you put your hand on there pretty quick. You were pretty sure that it wasn't hot, eh? Good job. I would put the heat, make sure you're blowing the weld off, basically on, yeah, well, right on it or on top of it, you know what I'm saying? Because the heat goes up. So let's go 6 inches and grab 4 more. So you're basically, she's basically not double bumping the welder. Just a second. She's not double bumping the welder because she's starting on top of a spot weld already that's there. Also, I'd like to see you let the red leave and then hit it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? As soon as the red leaves, then you're allowed to hit it. So go ahead and do 4 more. And she's going 6 inches. And she's starting right on the one that just cooled off. And she's going to grab the air just as quick as possible. Feel it, and then you'll know how long it takes to cool it off. Good?
Yep.
Good. You're going to go 6 inches. That light is just a bugger, eh? So she's hitting right on top of the spot weld, or the start of it. She's letting that red take off. Hit it again. Letting the red take off. Hit it again. And one more time. Let the red hitting it again. Hitting the air. As quick as possible. And you'll know when you get onto it how long to put the air on it, because you pulled the first area off, and you'll know how long to hold it there. She's doing good. So you know, basic time limit, how long to hold the air so you can move on. So you're going to go 6 inches, find a spot, let the red take off, hit it right on top of it. Wants that air just as quick as possible. I know what you're saying. I've done it many times. You have to remember, this is a hard one. It's just two sheets of metal coming together, butt weld together. There's no 90 on the end of it to stop it from warping. There's nothing from stopping it from warping. It's just two pieces of sheet metal that are going together. And
So I'm going to go in between these
yep,
two.
exactly. Go in between. Exactly. She's just going in between the fours that she had. Just go in between those ones. And the reason being is because she knows there's no heat there. Perfect. Just put the air so you know where to grab it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, it's right
have
here.
it ready for yourself.
Yep.
This is a repeat thing. You know, you do the exact same thing every time. Let the weld, the red go away, hit it again. Hit it on top of the last point that you put on. Then put the air to it so it's a repeat. And I don't like to do any more than 4 spots because I find that that's when it begins to warp. 4 is the one I stuck with because I've done more than 4 spots at a time and it'll take off on you. And that's the reason why I do 4s. You can do it whatever way you want to, but we're going to show you how to do it without warping it. I mean, Jolene's going to show you, not me. And I would say this would be the easiest chance to warp something. There's nothing holding it. There's no creases in the metal. There's no bends in the metal. There's no edge on the metal to stop it from warping. So this process here could weld a door skin down the middle of your door. You could cut you could cut the door in half and weld it together and not warp it with this process. Any heat?
Nope.
Good. So you can start back on the spot where you was before, the first 4s,
okay.
if you want.
Yep.
And then continue 6 inches and you'll just hit the, you know. If there's no heat, obviously. No heat's a good thing. Beautiful. You just want to make sure it's cool. That way there's no warpage. You can see how she's letting that red heat go away before she hits it. And that way there, it's not too hot, she's not going to burn through. Look how quick she was with that air. The quicker you are with the air, the better. You know, I mean, the less heat, I can't stress it enough, the less heat, the better. And when we're done, the proof will be in that yardstick that I throw on the side of the car, whether she welded it on without warping it. Basically. Starting in the middle. She started on the end the last time. This time she's starting in the middle on the other 4s where she was before. Perfect. Just paying attention is all it takes, is it not, sweetheart?
Yep.
Just paying attention. The whole way around. You have to pay attention to your heat going on, when your weld's cooling off to hit it again. Have to pay attention where your wire's at, where you're starting. You have to pay attention that you're doing every 6 inches, and you have to pay attention that you're not overheating the panel. Very fast on the air. Gotta like it. I'd hire you, Jolene. I mean, don't fire me, baby. Now, did you start down? You gonna start down the end again?
Yep.
Gonna start down the end again? Awesome. Just gonna go 6 inches. Fast, boys. I think she could beat Joe and Wayne. Looking good, Joe. Looking good, you are. Move up here and take a look at the other side. Even though there might be a little spot in between the 4s, we generally don't go past the 4s. We can always go back and do 1s or 2s, but after you start carrying on more than 4, you'll find yourself get into a problem. That's what I've noticed. I just leave it and then I come back and get it if there's a spot. You can watch that red heat go down before she hits it again, and that's paying attention. You can zap, 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 and keep it red full time. Yes, you can. But you're taking the chance of blowing through, and you're taking the chance of more heat. So it's just nice to chill for a second, let that red go away. Then you know you've got a nice puddle of weld that you can hit again without going through. Fast on the air. He's holding it right on the right spot. That means a lot. You're going to grab the air and not put it in the right spot and blow your weld off, or you're looking for an issue again. So, pull your air back a little bit so you get more area. You're getting good. Fast. And the one thing to do is not to, you know, if you feel like you're getting heat on it, don't rush it. Just slow back a second and move where you weren't welding to get going again, you know, so you know that there's no heat. Going back to the start.
That was just 2 needed there.
Just put some air on it.
Okay.
Cool it off, make sure. Just fill in your gaps now, I guess. You know, if you got, you know, if you got 2 spots for a gap, put the air to it. If you got 3, put the air to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now she's just filling in. Still put the air to it though, because we want no warpage. Awesome. I like how fast she gets the air to it. If you want to be lazy and fondle over the air, you can. There's enough heat there that'll warp it if it wants to. Is the end almost done? Or is it just that little spot right beside it? Your end, why don't you go back to the other end there, start there. If there's any down there, or is it all done?
It looks like it's all done.
All done?
Yep.
So you only got a little bit
I've got here.
in there, and 2
a little
spots?
bit here. Just a few down here. Like 3 different spots.
Just check it and see where's the coolest, wherever it's the coolest, and hit it. Wherever there's heat, stay away from it, wherever there's the coolest. Is it all cool?
Yeah, it's all cool.
Okay, go for it then. Any more spots?
Maybe just 1 spot right here.
Yeah, we'll get her.
I'll leave the
That's
end.
good for now. All right, let's test it out. So you've got to admit, you got 2 panels there, 2 flat panels. There's no crease in the quarter panel to hold it from stop warping. The post, I guess, there's a good 18 inches there. So we're going to check it out. What do you think, Jolene? You think you did a good job?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. She's smiling, boys. She's smiling. I'm going to give Jolene the camera. Now you're going to get the test. And the test of the matter is to see if anything has warped on the panel. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to shove this on there. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. That's the bottom panel. The real test is the top panel because that's where the heat goes. Fantastic. That right there that's how we weld the panels on without warping them. We're welding everything here with a MIG welder. We're not TIG welding anything. I've never TIG welded in my life, but basically, I haven't gone to a TIG welder because when we can weld panels on like that, what would be the need? Especially when we're faster with the MIG welder, because you need 2 hands with the TIG welder. And with the MIG welder, we can do it just as fast as we could with a MIG, TIG, whatever you're going to do it with, basically. So she has welded that panel on without warping a thing. And what I can say is, if she can weld that length of metal, a flat sheet of metal, with a gap in between, and butt weld them together and not warp nothing, tells me that she could weld a panel on any car, anywhere, and not warp it. Across the door, down the middle of the door, across the roof, anywheres. And if she can do it, that means that I can do it and you can do it. If you follow that process. If you want to jump around and do 5 and 6 welds and get a longer bead going, you could have an issue. That's what I've found that works for me. Now, when we look at their panels, they have overlapped them. Now, we can see the difference. There's a gap in there, and you can see the difference on the top of that, what that looks like. There's a big difference. You know, they didn't do the bad Chad welding process. Basically, is what I'm trying to tell you. You know, they're not doing the bad Chad welding. That's basically what's going on there, and basically they're not doing the bad Chad welding process. If you get something going like that, and that's just a matter of knowing what to do and what not to do, right? That one's got filler on it, but you can tell on the inside what's going on. You know, they had an issue. You can see how the gap, what I'm looking at, is the gap going up inside here. You can tell that it's getting too much heat and warping. So basically, if you want to butt weld a panel on your car and do it that way, you can have 0 warpage if you want to. It's called an air hose. Get it tacked every inch or every half inch, whatever there I got it spotted together, get it tacked so it cannot move. And then you can start doing that 4 thing. Also pay attention to when you're putting your weld on, that you start the wire on top or right at the beginning of the spot weld you just put on, so you've got some meat there. So it's overlapping every time. You're not going to burn through. Also, do not hit it again till you see that red go away. If you hit it again when it's red, you could blow a hole in it. Right? Awesome job, Jolene. Awesome. 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 So basically, that's how I did the other side. We have no warpage in the panel whatsoever. Very pleased with that. Fantastic. That will be able to be ground off. We should check out the other side. We should be able to see the penetration from the other side. And it should have no problem with penetration. We can see, or I can see, well, that's not nothing at all. Actually, that's just the undercoating. I can see... Yeah, you can see all the penetration. You can see how the undercoat is running. There's a pinhole right there you can see. Mm-hmm. There's a pinhole there she'll have to fix. Other than that, the rest is undercoating. And we know we've got penetration because there was a gap there. So that means that we can grind it all off. That's what it means. And if you come to this side, you might be able to see that pinhole. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming back. We appreciate it. And Jolene did an excellent job. She didn't warp anything up. I feel like she could weld a piece on a car anywhere and not warp it with a MIG welder. There's no hammering going on there. There's no smashing going on there. I feel like we can grind all the weld off. We're ready for the next step. So probably tomorrow, I'm probably going to try to gather up and start doing the wheel wells and tying them in, because we got both quarter panels tied together. Now it's going to be time to, I think I'm going to apply the floor to the quarter panel onto the other side, and then we're going to start going with that wheel well. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here yet, because there's not fantastic metal going on. We've got some stuff going on there that I don't like. There's some kind of thin spots going on, but we'll see what happens, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good job, Jolene.
Thanks.